Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Who wants to share some good news? Who made some things happen over the weekend? Don't be afraid. We're all friends here. Tell us a
Well, I'll
story.
share. I'll
Okay.
share that I did an open house. I mean, I have a couple of potential leads from it. Most of the folks that came in were represented, but I do want to mention that this was this is a townhome that Ann Kim is listing. It's right off of Roswell Road near Hammond Drive, near the Dunkin' Donuts there, and it's listed at 570. And I just want to note that the person who expressed the most interest and who will likely be making an offer was represented by a Keller Williams agent. Her agent wasn't there, but she mentioned that her agent had recently called her to ask her if she was thinking about moving. And that just resonated with me because that's what we're supposed to be doing every day, checking in with our database. And if her agent, who is her friend, had not done that, maybe, I could have written up the offer for her, but because her agent stayed in touch and reached out to her and reminded her, hey, and this is a good time for her because it's downtime for her work. So because this person stayed in touch, like we are taught to do, she may get a sale out of it.
Wow. Okay, let me summarize that for a second. Okay, so real estate agent is strategically, presumably, communicating with her database and comes up with this prospect or somebody that was in the database, and therefore identifies her as a $570,000 roughly buyer. Is that right?
No, she just stayed in touch with her to see if she's ready to make a move. And this person was already looking kind of on Zillow. And of course, I had my open house sign out. She lives across the street in an apartment where she's paying $2,400 a month rent. So because the agent just reached out to make, contact, hey, have you thought about moving at all?
Yeah.
And because it was on this person's mind, then that was the agent who will be writing up the offer.
I love that. That
Yes,
is,
I thought,
I love what you said, Donna. That is our job. Like, this is not something that that agent is doing that is, completely unconventional. And some people, unfortunately, might call that luck. I call that's the result of doing your job, right? If you ask enough people, if they have a need, somebody's going to say yes, right? Or if they have questions, somebody's going to say yes. And then the outsider who is going to kind of jab you a little bit for working. So, oh, she just got lucky, right? No, you're working, you earned it. Thank you for bringing that point up. I appreciate that.
it's just, when the prospective buyer mentioned that her agent had reached out to her to see if she was thinking about moving, a little light bulb just went off. It's like, wow, there's evidence that if we stay in touch, it could pay off and she may get, a $570,000 sale just because she reached out to say, hey, are you thinking about moving at all?
Exactly. Exactly. Great job. Who else wants to share? Who else had some good stuff happen over the weekend? Anybody feeling any special gratitudes they want to share today? It's my wife's birthday today.
Oh,
I'm
happy
grateful for
birthday.
that.
Happy birthday, Rachel.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Bill,
Anyone
I'm
else?
here.
Yeah, please. I can always count on you, Marquia, to share. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yesterday, I went out in the neighborhood that my client desired to be in and passed out my flyers about I had a qualified buyer. So looking to see what the outcome for that will be. And today I plan on I have 2 closings on Thursday and Friday. And so I plan on getting a welcome to the neighborhood card and using that idea of going around the neighborhood and having people sign it, kind of handing my business card out. So I want to see how that works out. So I'm excited for that.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let me kind of give a tiny bit more information, and this is kind of applicable to our door knocking theme for today, which is this is an idea. I'm not claiming to have invented it, of course, but I chatted about it a couple weeks ago, I think. And what we said is when you have a buyer, let's say that's moving to a particular neighborhood, a good reason or excuse, if you want to call it, to go door knock that neighborhood is like Markia is suggesting, taking a little card and walking it around to, let's say, 20 or 30 of the neighbors, right? Let's say maybe 10 people to the right of the house, 10 people to the left of the house, and 20 people across the street. And you say, hey, I'm Markia. I am working with a purchaser or with a buyer who's buying, the Smith Street or the Smith's house, on, right over there. And I wanted to share this card with them at closing, signed by a bunch of their new neighbors welcoming into the neighborhood. Now, I was just curious, would you be willing to, autograph this card for them? Right? Oh my gosh, never had anyone in the history of my life ever knock a door and say something like that. What a cool idea. Do you work this area? As a matter of fact, I do. Do you happen to know anyone that's, when are you thinking about moving? Do you happen to know anyone that's thinking about moving? When it comes to real estate, who do you trust? I know some of this stuff sounds repetitive, but these things, a door knocking strategy can be used anywhere, right? It doesn't have to be used at the door, right? But these are strategies that Markia can use now to, number one, show an awesome gesture, surprising and delighting her client, right? And letting her, that client's neighbors know that there is a huge amount of opportunity in the marketplace right now. It might be a great time to consider moving, right? So great job on that, Markia, and congratulations on your 2 closings. That is awesome.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, let's do one more, and then let's jump right in. Who else wants to share? Why are you guys being so quiet today? Ebony, you got a story to tell, I'm sure. Lawanda always has a story to tell. Come on now.
I'm grateful. Tomorrow I close on my home. My first house that is mine.
I love that. I love that. You're going to be
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
That's
Awesome
awesome,
job.
Greta. Congrats.
oh man, maybe I should have you lead the session. Everyone responds to that.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're going to be just a skip and a jump from downtown Alpharetta, right? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let me do a little bit of a recap of some exciting things that we're going to be offering this week and into the future. First of all, we are now 2 weeks in, I believe, for our high accountability Take the Hill group that meets every Tuesday from 8 to 8:30. And these are people that have they are super serious about their goals and nothing's getting in the way. And these might be personal goals or professional goals, but either way, we are here to help you. That group meets 8 o'clock to 8:30 Tuesdays in this room prior to the huddle. The other thing I want to share with you is this Thursday is the first day of Bold Local. So it is this Thursday and then 5 additional Thursdays. It is from 9 to 12 o'clock. So a couple things I want to review with you guys on this. The program is $399. It is a phenomenal investment, if you ask me. I've taken it about 13 or 14 times. Probably about half of the time as leadership and about the other half as an agent. And I just want to share with you that the average person, and none of you guys are average, the average person will have 11 or 12 contracts that happen during that 6-week period. Okay, so if you can take $400 and turn that into, let's say, 11 closings or 11 commission checks, I'd say that is a pretty impressive return on your investment. And to give you even more confidence, to tell you that we are willing to bet on you as well, The office is going to reimburse you $100 at your first transaction, $100 at your second transaction, and Candace and I will be reimbursing you, if you're in productivity coaching, of course, the other 200 on your third transaction. Okay, so if you perform at 1/3, actually more like 1/4 the level of the average agent, you will go for free. Cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
Candace, it looks like you wanted to add something. Okay, so let's recap. $400 or $399 up front. First deal, $100 from the office. Second deal, $100 from the office rebate. And then the other 200 will come from Candace and I on your third transaction. There's a registration link in the email newsletter that goes out every day, as well as the PC Week at a Glance as well. Any questions on Bold?
Nope.
All right, beautiful. We're running 3 contests this month as well. One is for the growth group, one is for the launch group, and one is for PC2. Okay, we haven't finalized the prizes yet, but the primary thing that we are going to be pushing this week, or I'm sorry, this month, is pipeline ads, pipeline additions. These are, if you focus entirely your day on going out into the marketplace, going out into your community, and looking for people that have a goal to buy a home or sell a home in the next 12 months, everything else will take care of itself. You will have enough contacts, you will add people to the database, you will book and hold appointments, and you will take listings. You will earn listings, okay? And that is simply from having a super aggressive, I don't want to say aggressive, but assertive focus on adding people to your pipeline. I did a little video on what is a pipeline and how to build it. That is posted on the YouTube channel now. And for every person that you add to the pipeline, that gives you 1 point, and we'll separate the winners from the growth group, the PC2, and the launch group, so that, you know, launch people aren't necessarily competing with PC2 people or something. Okay.
Would you
Any
say that, would you say that those in bold are going to have a slight edge?
I'm glad you brought that up, Candace. I believe that the people that are enrolled in Bold will have an incredibly significant advantage. And quite frankly, the reason why is because they're just allowing more accountability into their world, right? If you're hanging out all day by yourself, lead generation is strange. If you're hanging out all day with highly productive, driven real estate agents, not lead generating is strange. Y'all follow that? So the more that you participate in things like Bold or coming to the office and making your calls or whatever, the more success you're going to have. 100 times out of 100. So if you have some questions about Bold and want to talk about it offline, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Again, 9 to 12, 6 Thursdays in a row starting this Thursday. Okay. Candace, am I forgetting anything?
I have a question about Bold. Is that all virtual, or are we doing anything in the office?
Bold is all virtual. It is going to be using Zoom, and it is going to be, they're going to have like a lot of breakout. I don't know if you guys have ever been in the Zoom where there's breakouts. We might actually try that here coming up. Don't let me forget about that. But it's pretty cool. They hit a button and then you go into a smaller group, and that'll be your accountability group for reporting numbers and you know, coming up with your daily plan and all that kind of stuff. This is the newest kind of iteration of Bold. It's called Bold Local. They've been testing it, or what do you call it? Beta testing it in Austin for 6 months or so, and it's the results are even better than previous Bolds. So I'm excited to see that you guys I'm excited to see that you guys are going to be participating. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Okay. Oh, and then if you are in growth, you get some extra points for sending me your GPS and your 411. And if you're in PC2, we are going to be tracking listings taken. So I just want to thank those that have reported their numbers. Yesterday, we're going to report our numbers on Sunday or Monday before the session starts. We're already off to a good start, so thank you very much for those that have participated. I want to just tell you, last month, we did eclipse our goal of 100 appointments. We did not eclipse our goal for listings taken. So our goal this month is 109 total appointments. They go up every month, 109 total appointments. We have not done 109 appointments, by the way, since January. So we've come close, we've come real close, but we haven't hit 109 since January. So we got to pick up the pace a bit. And then listings taken is 68, and we have never done 68 before. So I'm counting on you guys to ask for the business, okay? Ask for the business. Hey, is there anything that's stopping us from moving forward today? No? Okay. All you got to do is sign this piece of paper and we'll get started right away. Make sense? Okay. I want to just reiterate a point I made a few minutes ago, which is when we talk about door knocking, it does not have to be physically at the door. This is a conversation that could happen in line at the grocery store or at the mall, or if there's even malls anymore. This could happen when you're walking your dog. It could be anything. These are essentially just conversation starters, okay? So I love Markia's idea about the welcome card for buyers. I think that's phenomenal. I believe, and just one point that I forgot to mention earlier about that, Markia, is make sure, remember the value of sharing your card is significantly lower than the value of getting their information, right? So be prepared with, I might also have a flyer similar to what you did the other day, Markia, that just gives some market statistics, market data, maybe the last couple of homes that have sold in the neighborhood, and like a little one sheet or half sheet or something that if, you know, the conversation goes towards real estate. Oh my gosh, you're a realtor? I've never had a realtor knock my door before. I've never had a realtor have this welcome card thing. How's the market? You pull out the sheet of paper. Here's how the market is. Got any questions? Why do you ask? Right? That way you can kind of do both at one time. You can make sure that you are the area expert and you communicate that to the person you're speaking with. And you're doing this kind of above and beyond gesture in front of them. So all the things that we talked about today can be used at a door or out or in a different setting, okay? The primary thing that you want to be communicating, in my opinion, is that you are the local expert, okay? And that you have all the information. And when they have an opportunity to ask a real estate question, you want to be the resource that they count on. You want to be their point person, basically, okay? Because when somebody, everyone's going to have a real estate question at some point. Okay, should I buy? Should I sell? How much is this place worth? Am I paying too much in rent? Is there a better school district I should be in? Blah, 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 blah. So at some point, everybody's going to have a question about real estate. Your goal is to make sure that when they think about real estate, they think about you. Make sense? So the line that I always like saying is, I don't want my people to be making real estate decisions without speaking to me first. Not because it's a control thing or anything like that. I don't care about that. The point is that left to their own devices, they will get information and misinformation muddled. Okay. I can't expect somebody that is not in the business each and every single day that is getting clobbered with information and misinformation from social media, from news, from their neighbors, you know, from their impression of the marketplace without looking at the real statistics. They can't possibly make a sophisticated decision. In my opinion, they need us. They need help, right? Our job is to kind of translate all that stuff. Does that make sense? Because if they get their real estate news from, let's say, the Wall Street Journal or, you know, some kind of national news source, that's like saying it's cloudy in America, right? That doesn't tell us what's going on in Kennesaw or Roswell or Dunwoody or Smyrna. You see what I'm saying? So number one, if you're going to be expected to be the neighborhood expert, you got to go study the neighborhood, right? And what I would do for like what Markia did is she basically created this template, and you can switch the name in the neighborhood and switch the picture or two of the house and the little stat or two, and be ready to go knock another neighborhood with that market data. Make sense? Okay, so the theme in which you're going to be kind of considering when you're getting ready to start this project is, I'm looking for people to add to my world, which is another way of saying my database, who rely on me for real estate information, both positive and negative. And they come to me as their real estate resource before making any other decisions. If we can nail that, this business is going to be cake. Okay, so let's talk about some actual scripts that you could say. Okay, now I'm going to encourage you to be authentic, right? Don't tell them you have a buyer if you don't have a buyer, right? So the buyer could be, Nikki's buyer could be the buyer that she heard Markia talk about, right? We're working with buyers. I mean, that's vague enough where it's probably going to work. Okay, so I'm out here because I made a commitment to my buyer or to our buyer who wants to move into this neighborhood, that we would reach out to some local owners, see if they had any interest in moving, right? I made a commitment, and then I'm here because I made that commitment. Now I'm executing on the commitment, right? So there's a bunch of different scripts. Let's kind of touch on a few of those, okay? Hey, my name is Bill Linkwald. Today, I'm sharing some information about the activity in our neighborhood. And I just wanted to, hand you this flyer. Do you happen to have any questions about real estate right now? Right, that's one thing. Another thing you could say is, hey, this is the flyer for my new listing around the corner. I'm gonna be hosting an open house from 2 to 4. As a matter of fact, from 1 to 2, we're inviting just the neighbors. We're gonna have some donuts and some coffee and some market stats and that kind of stuff. Just wanted to invite you, right? By the way, while I'm here, have any questions about real estate? Anything I can help you with? Right? What do you have any long-term real estate goals? How long have you lived here? You're just asking, you're just being friendly, right? But you're trying to extract data from them, because when you get more data, you'll be able to provide better value, right? Where you're asking the questions to identify, is there a time that this candidate, this neighbor might be more likely to sell? So for example, without getting too personal, you could say, what attracted you to the neighborhood, right? And they'll say, oh, it's the kids. Okay, now you know they have kids. You don't want to bring up do you have kids if they don't have kids, or you don't know, right? Let them bring that up, right? Who knows? They could be having, kid could have died. They could have had trouble having kids. I mean, there's so many sensitivities that you guys have to kind of have in the back of your mind, okay? Hey, what attracted you to the neighborhood? Oh, school districts. Oh, wonderful. Are your kids in middle school, high school? They're like, oh, my last daughter is finishing high school in next year. Oh, wonderful. You think you're going to be staying in the area, or will you need a different type of home? Are you going to be moving to the mountains? Tell me a little bit more about that, right? You're just learning more about their personal situation to try to identify markers in which they may have a different real estate need. Does that make sense? What we're looking for, just to remind you, is major life events. Major life events would be children moving away, children moving back, right? Babies being born, families growing, divorces, marriages, engagements, job changes, these kind of things. Okay.
I want to say one thing.
Please.
Right now, when you drive by neighborhoods and they've got the banners out front showing all the graduates,
Yeah.
that's just like a no-brainer, especially if you see, the ones with all like 12, 15 names. That's a no-brainer. Somebody in there is going to be selling. So just a little tip.
Love that. I love that. So, hey, wanted to invite you to this open house. Give them a little bit of, literally 20 seconds, 10 seconds about the house, and invite them to the open house. Okay. You could use the approach that we just talked about of what is what am I trying to say? Um, the open house, I'm sharing information. Another one could be I'm working with the buyer and I've made a commitment to the buyer that I would come and meet some of the homeowners in this community because my buyer wants to live in the community. When was the last time you thought about selling? Right? We talked about the 3 ask questions last week, right? When was the last time you thought about moving? Who do you know that's thinking about moving that we could help? And when it comes to real estate, who is it that you trust? Okay, I'm going to give you I'm going to paint 2 different pictures for you, okay? Please do not get in the habit of passing out your cards without getting their information and thinking that that's going to have long-term success. You may get lucky, but you probably won't. What you need more than anything is their information, right? And then, hey, when it comes to real estate, who is it that you trust, right? Oh, well, we had a realtor, but I think she just retired. Oh, wonderful. So listen, I'd love an opportunity to earn the right to be your resource for real estate information, right? So anytime you have any questions about values or refinancing or the market or anything like that, please call me. If you need a appliance repair person, a painter or a landscape person, whatever it is, I'd like for you to call me. We've got great vendor partners. I'd be more than happy to share that information with you. Do you happen to have any questions now? Right. So you are in the data gathering business. Okay. Now, hopefully it goes without saying that you should have some kind of, journal or writing pad or something like that next to you so that you can go back and say, okay, 154, they're the ones with 2 girls. The younger girl is just finishing college. The older girl is at, Georgia Tech or whatever. And the spouse's name is George, right? And then, okay, 158. Okay, they're the ones with the blue door and their whole family is really involved in softball, right? You're just writing notes, and then later on, you're going to input all that information into your database and put them on some form of communication. Obviously, we're going to talk about the 36 touch plan later this week, by the way. And that will give you something to talk about with them next time you communicate with them. Maybe they have an Auburn flag flying outside or something, or maybe they, they have a bunch of dogs or whatever. You have something that is relevant and specific to them. Nothing makes somebody feel better than when you bring up something that is personalized to them. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. I just told you my wife's birthday is today. Candace immediately says, "Happy birthday, Rachel." She didn't say happy birthday. She said, "Happy birthday, Rachel," which tells me that she's been paying attention. Does that make sense? So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
subconsciously, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that I like Candace, right? But subconsciously, I'm like, she's actually been listening, and she's been thinking about somebody other than herself, right? This is a woman that really seems to care, right? I think I like her. I think I'll pour more into her. You see what I'm saying? I think I'll check in more often. Does that make sense?
Yes, because she personalized it. It wasn't just a general happy birthday.
Yeah, you always know when they don't know the name, right? They're like, "How's your wife doing?" It's like, "Oh, you mean the one whose name you don't know?" I don't expect you guys to know my wife's name, by the way, but if you do, I can tell, right? It feels good. Any thoughts, questions, anything that I've mentioned today?
I do have a question, Bill. Good
Please.
morning, everyone. Wanted to, in the door knocking, say for instance, if you don't get, just hypothetical, you don't get a contact information, what is the follow-up after that? Are you sending a note, which I will be doing, send a handwritten note, just thanking them for even talking to me today?
Great question. So what I would probably do is I think all of this is meant to be complemented by another form of communication too. So for example, if I knock a door and I have a nice conversation with somebody, I meet them, right? Now they've seen me, I've seen them. I know the Smiths that live at 158 Smith Street or whatever, right? Well, that'd probably be strange. But anyway, um, I will write them a note, say, hey, I'm so grateful to have met you. Something personal about what you talked about, congratulations to your daughter getting into Georgia Tech, or, your vacation that we talked about sounds so much fun down in Miami Beach or whatever. And, please, feel free to give me a call should you have any questions about real estate at any time in the future, right? Pop a card in there, put that in the mail. Nice personalized message, personalized message. Okay. If I do not get them, I would probably leave the flyer, right? And I would also use Cole, which again, just so everyone is fully aware, there's a system called Cole Resource Realty. It's about $1,200 a year. We provide that for you for free in PC. So if you ever are looking for the names and numbers, it's not perfect and it doesn't have everyone's name and number, but it's basically updated all the time, and we're giving you the best data we have. You could say 123 Hill Street, give me the 1,500 people that live closest to that home, or up to 1,500 people. Or hey, the Falls at Autry Mill, here, give me that neighborhood, give me the county, my assistant will pull it up, send you all the people that live in that community, okay, with their names and numbers and addresses, of course. So you can call them and say, hey, I was in your neighborhood. I'm yesterday meeting some of your neighbors. My name is Bill Linkwald. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I'm working with a great family that's hoping to move into your area. And as you know, hardly any properties are available right now. And I've made a commitment to them that I would go above and beyond what the typical agent's going to do. And I'm calling the neighbors today to see if they happen to know of any homes that might be coming available soon. Do you happen to know anything that I could share with this wonderful family? Right? By the way, everything I just said, again, can be said outside of the front door setting. So if you're able to call, knock, write a handwritten note, all of that, and combine it, then the same customer, the same prospect will hear of your name or hear you from different angles using different mediums. That's when it really starts to be solidified. Oh my gosh, they don't know that you've been in the business for not that long. They just keep hearing your name over and over again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
can I also
wow, this is
mention?
pretty cool. Donna, you go first.
I just wanted to mention that in addition to the Cole Realty, I use the app that the office makes available, the Forewarn app. And I use that to also get phone numbers.
Yes. Just a quick note on Forewarn. There is an app called Forewarn, Forewarn. We get we provide what essentially is a group discount through the office. I think right now it's $12 a month. This is something where if you want to look up a candidate, like we've had a few issues, unfortunately, where somebody kind of got a weird call from somebody and they wanted to meet them and they something just didn't feel right. We look up their information in this database and it shows, has this person do they have any criminal history or these kind of things. It's not to say that's the line in the sand, but it's just giving you an awareness of everything you can learn about this person so that you can decide if you feel comfortable, right? I remember Peggy Connors called me maybe a year or two ago, said, hey, this guy's like a cash buyer and I really want to show him this like $2 million home and blah, 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 country club of the South. Just didn't feel right. Can you look it up for me? Right, looked it up. The guy just got out of jail and all of his offenses were sexual assault type things. Right. So please, if you are even slightly concerned or curious, let's look it up. Okay, we've got a number of people in the group that have an account, and we'd be more than happy to look it up for you. Even if you don't have Forewarn, we'll look it up for you. Okay,
And Bill, I'd just like to add something. Best practices, when you're going to show a home, I know a lot of times we get busy, but make sure somebody knows who you're going with and where you're going. That's just a good practice to get in, even if you write a note and leave it on your desk for somebody. That's just important, as an important safety practice.
yeah, absolutely.
Can I make one more note about Forewarn? I also use it at open house to kind of when people are signing in to look up to see if I have like the right contact information or the right name, whatever it may be, because you can search by name or phone number. And so it's helpful there too, to kind of get clarification of the information you have on your sheet and know who's there in the house with you.
So while I'm thinking about that, so is that like to make sure that their number is accurate?
Yeah, I kind of want to check and see, because as they're looking around the house, if I don't have the correct information, then I can make sure that I get it from them before they leave.
Right. Hey, let me send you my app. Let me make sure you got it. Okay. So 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, did it go through? Right. I
Yep.
like that. That's great. Who else was in the middle of saying something? Was it Nikki and Lawanda?
Yes, I have a question. I have two questions actually.
Okay.
So the first one, so for example, let's say I'm in the line and I'm having like a conversation about just a long wait in the line or whatever the conversation is. How do you transition into that real estate question?
I think it's just a matter of asking more questions about them. Right. Oh, do you live in the area? That's a great one. Do you live in the area? Right.
Okay.
You could
Yeah.
ask, well, how long have you lived in the area? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do for a living? Right.
Right.
Oh, well, what do you do for a living? Ah, now we're talking about real estate. This is great. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
Whatever you want to know, just ask the same question of them. And kind of the hate to say it this way, but kind of the polite thing to do is to ask us the same question back, right? So somebody says, "Hey, you from around here?" Right? I'm going to say, "Hey, are you from around here?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Right.
it's just commonplace. So if you want to know what they do for a living, well, let me rephrase that. If you want to talk about real estate, then ask them what they do,
Okay.
right?
And
And more than likely, they'll come back and ask you what you do. Now
Right.
you better be
Okay.
prepared for that question,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is, I help buyers and sellers build wealth by making great
Mm-hmm.
real estate decisions.
And
Right.
and
Okay.
very frequently when people find out you're in real estate, they're going to say, "How's the market?" So it's really a great idea to practice and have a script around what you're going to say around that. If you just say, "Oh, the market's great," that conversation's dead. But if you say, "Oh, interestingly enough, we have a market where sellers are incredibly um, in shortage right now," so just have your script practice so that you can respond to that in a way that generates interest.
Right. Or say,
Got it.
hey, hey, we had, 450 new listings come on the market in the last 24 hours, right? Or we've had 1,112 homes go under contract this week, right? Say something
Mm-hmm.
specific based on a market stat that you are studying consistently.
Okay.
What was your other question?
So for those homes or those neighborhoods where it says no soliciting, would we use those the numbers in Core Research to reach out to them? And could we text them in that situation?
All right, there's a lot to uncover there. If a neighborhood specifically says no soliciting, I would
Mm-hmm.
not knock the doors. But that is not that doesn't have anything to do with a phone solicitation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, just so you know, the Cole list is not scrubbed for do not call, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's a fine line, or there's a very gray line on what a solicitation is, right? Asking somebody if they want to move, I think, is a bit of a solicitation. Inviting somebody to an open house and then moving into a question about their desire to move, I think is I could argue that.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Hey, I'm here to invite you to the open house.
Mm-hmm.
All neighborhoods by me have no soliciting signs. What do you think I'm going to say to that?
Mail them a letter? I don't know.
Well, that's an option, but go knock some other doors,
Oh, I see. Well, that does make sense.
right? And I know this sounds crazy, but I never really wanted to be my own neighborhood like agent. There wasn't anything unique about my neighborhood where like I felt it was any more special than some other neighborhood. In fact, I probably thought the opposite, to be honest. And this is a limiting belief. I will be very transparent with you on that. I worked from home a lot, and I didn't have a garage, so everyone could see that my car was there. Okay, they might
Mhm.
think I didn't work, right?
Right.
Bill, I'm not saying my neighborhood, I'm saying all of the neighborhoods around me. Like, how far do I have to go?
You tell me. I don't care.
Another
10 miles,
country?
20 miles. How badly do you want to have a career in real estate?
Oh, God.
Well,
Look,
Bill,
there are other ways to get business. I'm just suggesting that when faced, and this is not directed at you, although you did bring it up, when faced with a problem, you can either work towards solving the problem, right? Or you
Mhm.
can let the problem beat you up. So do you think there are any
Got it.
neighborhoods in town that don't have a no soliciting sign? I would venture to say there's one at least. Go find it. And if you don't want to
Okay.
door knock, don't door knock, but you got to hit your appointment somehow.
Right.
Marquia, did you want to say something? I saw your square light up for a second. Okay, who else? Did I miss anybody?
I have a quick question about the coal database that you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you do that, do you get that information in a form that you can then like upload to your database, or is it something that, because I've got neighborhood lists, but it's all on a paper. I have to manually type it all into.
Oh, yeah. So we would send you what is essentially a CSV file, a comma
Okay.
separated value, which is a spreadsheet basically. So you could upload that, for example, into a dialer system. I don't know that I would upload it just all at once into your database, unless you were specifically segmenting off like a farm that you were going to intentionally try. Like, let's say there's a 100 house neighborhood that you wanted to penetrate, to get exposure to, right? And like April Cooley has done this, where she, although it's probably more like 50 houses, where she like blew up the street map in like all the different parcels. And her mission is basically to say, that's the Joneses, that's the Smiths, that's the Williams, that's the, Stories, they're basically they're trying to identify all of the lots and all the homes and who lives there, right? They're getting super intentional about it. You could upload that to the database. I think that I would probably try to, as long as you have an awareness that those are not, unless you build relationships with those people, they're not going to come to you, right? So don't get confused with, and I certainly don't think you would, but don't get confused with uploading a couple hundred people to the database and thinking you got the database size you need now. Right.
No. Yeah, it just seemed like I've been talking to people that if you like, I'm spending a lot more time putting names into the database than I am, talking to them. So if you had a way if it was easier to do that, then without having to manually do it.
Well, first of all, you could definitely do, you could upload, these lists are provided in CSV file. So that
Okay.
makes it super easy. But the database, you are a solo agent, right now. So you are the buyer's
Sorry.
guy, you're the seller's guy, you're the admin, you're the database manager, you're the everything. So make sure that, just from, you didn't ask for this advice, but don't do that in the middle of the day. Do that stuff at night, right? The daytime is for speaking to people, the nighttime is for clerical work. Okay, any other thoughts or questions? Okay, we have a question privately just about the 3 asks. I'll post that again here in a minute. Is there anybody that is not going to bold that wants to talk about it? I want everybody in that. I want like all of y'all in bold. Okay. If you're not going to bold, let's talk. Okay. All right. Candace, did I miss anything today?
Nope, all good. It was a
All right.
great huddle.
Thank you guys. As always, it is a pleasure being in business with you. The YouTube channel will be updated today. We're just a day or 2 behind, and make sure there's some class suggestions for this week that are in the Week at a Glance email. So take a peek at that. And as always, thank you for putting your numbers out there and reporting. We got some big goals this month, 109 appointments and 68 listings taken. And I am confident that you guys can do it. So thank you as always. Have an awesome day.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Bill.
Bill.
Have a great day, everyone.